Hey guys, and continuing off the top 10 list of my best and worst female and male anime characters, I continue with part 2, top 10 worst male anime characters. Now, this is just my opinion, because I forgot to mention this in my first video, because I always do that. I don't know why, but this is just my opinions of the characters I didn't like. If you guys like these characters, that's fine. And actually, this is the one list that I think I get a lot of heat for, because there are characters on this list that people are like, why you say he's bad? He's actually really good. He's a well-developed character. Listen, I just personally don't like them. I find them irritable. I find them like they're a nuisance to me. I just don't like them. They're despicable. And just like in my top 10 worst female anime characters list, I also have a dishonorable mention in here as well. And that is Yuichi Izaki from Hanbun no Tsuki ga Noboru Sora. This character, he's not bad, but he did something that I really found despicable, and they never really addressed it again. They just pretended like it never happened, but I didn't forget, and I was like, nope, that's fucked up. Why would you do that to a sick girl? And this might be considered a spoiler, but I mean, would you really care? I mean, this anime is not that interesting. It's only 6 episodes long. It's just kind of dull. It's just okay, it's not great. But basically what he did was he cheated on his love interest. His love interest is a girl in the hospital that he met. She's like terminally ill, and he was just feeling really depressed and was like, man, this girl's like treating me like shit. I can't even see her. So what does he do? He sneaks around with another woman and cheats on her. And he never felt remorse for that. And that kind of bugged me. And it brought his character down a couple notches for me, because I really respected him. Like, he treated his girlfriend with respect, and he really cared about her. You could tell he did. But then he did this one thing, and I was like, oh no, come on, no, don't do that. And he felt no remorse for it. So yeah, dishonorable mention. And now let's get started on the list with number 10, a character whose position did not change from my original top 10 list, and that would be Shinji Ikari from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Everything that I felt about that character in my original top 10 list is the same way I feel now about his character. He's just a weakling, he's pitiful, he's pathetic, he has no backbone, he can't stand up for himself, and I couldn't root for that character. Throughout the entire series, he's always crying, or I doubt myself, or he's crying, or I doubt myself. Back and forth, back and forth. That's all he ever does in the entire series. The only reason that he's only number 10 on this list is because I really like his character in Evangelion. So it gave him an added bonus because he has a backbone now. He's not always crying and doubting himself. He's actually standing up for himself, and that's why he's number 10. But for the series itself, that's all he ever did, and that's why number 10. Number 9 is Oji Kurosama from School Rumble. Now, I really don't got much to say about this character. I mean, he was just bland. I didn't really care for him. He was kind of boring. I mean, he was funny at some points, but altogether, I just didn't get attached to this character. He was kind of bland, and that's all there is to it. He was just blah. Number 8 is Yuki Sohma from Fruits Basket. Yet another bland and uninteresting character that I really didn't empathize with. I really didn't get into his development. I just didn't care. He was boring and dull. And I really found it ironic that my number 9 and my number 8 choice both share one thing in common. They're both voiced by the same voice actor, Eric Valle, I think is his name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but they're both voiced by the same guy, and I really think he just plays these really bland characters. The only character that he's ever played that's different is America, and you're gonna hear about him coming soon. But yeah, number 8, Yuki Sohma, kind of just boring. And continuing off the trend of bland characters is my number 7 choice, Souichirou Arima from Kare Kano. Now, like I said, he's just another bland character that I really didn't get into. I mean, I really didn't sympathize or relate to this character. I mean, he's a handsome, intelligent, Bishonen character. Off the bat right there, I just was like, I don't really relate to him in any way, shape, or form. I mean, the character has no depth or personality, and the voice actor who voices him is probably the reason why I felt like this character is bland, because he does a terrible voice work portraying this character. He did not emote well at all. I didn't feel the emotions in his voice. It's probably the worst voiceover work I've ever heard in my life. It was terrible. Number 6 is Rei from Yurusen Yakusora. Now, my reasoning for why I didn't like this character is the same in my original video. I just felt like he was a sexist and misogynistic pig. The only reason he really cared about Lum is so that she can literally cook food for him for the rest of his life. That's the only reason why he was there. And really, his character development was very shallow. I really didn't get attached to his character, and he really never changes throughout the entire anime. It's always the same. It just grows to, instead of cooking, he wants her to clean. Instead of cleaning, he wants her to like do all this other stuff. So as a character, he really doesn't go anywhere. He doesn't progress as a character, and he's just... Number 5 is Shinobu Sensui from Yu Yu Hakusho, a perfect example of human selfishness and blind ambition. He really didn't see the big picture, because he was sent on a mission that really altered his ideology of, you know, am I doing the right thing or am I doing the wrong thing? And here's the thing, just so that you guys know how I feel. If people torture demons, I honestly would feel no pity whatsoever, because the pure definition of a demon is a bad person. And many of you might say, well, there are some good demons, what about them? The way that they presented the demons in that flashback, they all look like they were terrible people and they would have done terrible things. I mean, yes, some demons, they can be redeemed, and some demons, they might be good. But honestly, I just didn't feel bad about those demons. I mean, mainly demons are evil beings. That's why they're called demons. I mean, if they were good, they'd be called angels. But that's getting off the topic. The main reason why I don't really like Shinobu is because I felt like he was just being selfish. Like, oh, because I feel like this way, I'm just gonna make everybody suffer. And, you know, it goes back to my argument about how there's some good demons and some bad demons. There are some good humans and there's some bad humans. Yes, some bad humans need to get punished, but do all of us have to suffer from like a minuscule percent of the world? That's what it felt like. He wanted to make everybody suffer for the deeds of the few. They affect the deeds of the many. I was like, no, that's not fair. Overall, I just felt like he didn't really see the big picture and he was being a bit selfish. Now, the next 4 characters that I'm about to mention, it just really hurt that I put them on this list because they started off as really good, well-developed characters, and then they did such despicable things that put them on this list. And starting off with number 4 is Griffith from Berserk. He had such a great development. I really related and rooted for his character, and then he showed his true colors in the last 2 episodes, and he showed me who he truly was. He went and sacrificed all of his friends so that he can become a god, and it just shows a lack of loyalty. I mean, he's been with them for many years. He's grown to know them. He's grown to love them. They are his friends. Basically, they're his family, and he betrayed his family all for the fact that he wanted to become powerful. I found that to be a dick move. I mean, I understand. He was crippled. He can't move. He can't do nothing. They beat him to death, basically, and he's like, well, I could just stay like this, or I could just fuck everybody and become a super powerful demon god. And in that sense, I understand, but I mean, it just shows the lack of loyalty and how selfish this character is. I mean, yes, he was crippled, but the thing is, his friends, his family would be there to nurse him and be there always. But I just felt like that was such a selfish move, and I just didn't like that. Number 3, again, this pains me to say this, Light Yagami. When I first saw Death Note, I really liked Light Yagami. I thought he had the perfect vision for the perfect world by eliminating all the evils of the world and becoming basically the next god. And I really rooted for this character. But he is a perfect example of how power can blind a really smart individual such as Light. He is the greatest example of how power can corrupt anybody. It corrupted him, it could corrupt politicians, it corrupts everybody. That's what power does. And what really hurt is that he really cared about nobody. He used everybody that he knew as pawns for his own greedy ambitions. He even sacrificed his own dad so that he wouldn't get caught. And when you put family below your needs, I mean, that's selfish, that's heartless, that is a despicable human being. Overall, he was just a selfish character who cared nothing about other people, just himself, and that's why he's on this list. And number 2 is Sasuke from Naruto. Another one that really hurt to put him on this list because when he first started off, you actually felt for his dilemma. Like, he's witnessed his entire family get killed, and you're like, yeah, his brother's a dick. You should go get him. But in turn, Sasuke is truly the dick of the series. And just like Light Yagami, he is another perfect example about how power can corrupt an individual because he betrayed his friends, he betrayed his village, he betrayed everybody so that he can obtain power and get his revenge. That was the only thing that was driving him. He was all about him. He didn't care about anybody else. And it just really broke my heart because I really rooted for him. I wanted him to succeed, but then he started like backstabbing everybody he knew, and probably the biggest reason why I don't like him is he felt no remorse for what he did. He felt nothing. And now I don't like his character, and he broke my heart, and that's why he's number 2. And now we get to the head honcho of them all, the number 1 worst anime character, and I'm guessing you all know who I'm gonna say, Makoto from School Days. He is still, in my opinion, the worst anime character ever. I mean, he is truly a despicable character. He cheated on Kotonoha with Sekai. Then he cheated on Sekai with other girls. And then he's just going around having sex with all these girls, and he felt no guilt or remorse for any of his actions. And probably what hurt the most for me is just like Griffith, Light, and Sasuke, he started off as a likable, relatable character that you could root for and you really want to see him grow in his development. But slowly but surely, he showed his true colors, and he just went from being up here likable to being down here detestable. And he broke my heart, and he's just a despicable character. I hate his guts. But he got what he deserved in the last episode. And you know what? I didn't feel bad at all. I didn't pity him. I was just like, you deserved it, and you got your just rewards. And that is why Makoto from School Days is my number 1 worst male anime characters I've ever seen. So that concludes the worst of the worst, top 10 worst male characters and worst female characters. And now we're going to start off on a lighter note. We're going to be talking about my top 10 best female and male characters coming next. And let me know, who are the worst male characters that you've ever seen in an anime? Who are the ones that just made you just aggravated and angry and you just wanted to choke them out? Comment below and let me know. Anyway, hit that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Welcome all. If you really like this video, click like. And I'm Tony Watley from The Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace YouTube.